Good morning, and welcome to the second episode of our Franchise Readiness Series, where we help people considering the path of business ownership understand the options and opportunities available and how franchising could be the choice that works for them. I'm your host, Brian Wieters, Group Vice President of Franchise Development at Neighborly. I've spent over 30 years in franchising, leading development teams at multiple brands in the quick serve, business services, and home services industries. Today's guest is my counterpart at Neighborly, Brian Woods. Brian's also a Group Vice President of Franchise Development. Neighborly is the world's largest parent company of over 30 home service brands and more than 5,000 franchise locations in 9 countries. Brian is responsible for the 6 franchise brands in the repair cluster: Mr. Rooter, Mr. Appliance, Mr. Electric, Dryer Vent Wizard, AirServe, and Precision Door Services. He's a key driver in the strategic direction of the brands in terms of growth and market expansion. Brian is also the co-chair of Neighborly's Diversity and Inclusion Committee. Prior to Neighborly, Brian was the managing director of franchise development for G6 Hospitality, the parent company of Motel 6 and Studio 6 Economy Hotels. While at G6, Brian was the first president of the Council of Diversity, Inclusion, and Equality, where he focused on diversity franchise recruitment. During today's webinar, How Franchising Can Bridge the Gap Between Business Ownership and Success, Brian will talk about why people choose franchise ownership when they're looking into owning a business, and how Neighborly can help guide you down the path to success. He'll also talk through some of the common myths and misconceptions you may have heard about franchising and what the reality of what franchise ownership can bring you. Thank you for joining us today, Brian. We're looking forward to listening to this topic and learning more about franchise ownership and Neighborly.
Thank you, Brian. So today I'm excited to be talking about the true value of franchising and how it could be a catalyst for you to succeed as a business owner. Now, we're going to talk a lot about different reasons on why franchising will be good for you. But one of the things I also want to do is talk about some of the myths that may be out there that may prevent folks from actually trying to determine will franchising be a good fit for them. And one of the things I love about this topic, I love the title, How Franchising Can Bridge the Gap Between Business Ownership and Success. So when you think about that, I want you to think about a river, and I want you to think about 2 banks, one side on each side of the river. And one side is going to be business ownership, and the second is going to be success. And every business owner has to cross that river to be successful. Now, granted, there are a lot of different ways to get to the other side. You might try to swim, but the question is, do you have the skills and the strength to make it across the river? What if the currents are too strong and you can't make it? So you might try another option. You might try to build a raft or build something that can get you across. But if you haven't built anything like that, the risk of you doing that is high that you won't succeed. So this is where franchising is a true value, because franchising serves as that bridge. It is a bridge that's been created based off of knowledge and expertise to get business owners over that river to success with the least amount of risk. And that's what I'm here to talk about today. So let's talk about the first question, right? This is one that many people have. Why do people buy franchises? And there are a couple key reasons why people do go into franchising. The first is going to be the brand. They just love a brand. And this could be from experience as a customer. This could be a reference from family and friends about a brand, and they just want to be affiliated with it. So that's one of the main reasons. The second one is that this brand may have a lot of recognition. So the more recognizable the brand is, the more business opportunities can be created to you as a franchise business owner of that brand. Next, you're looking at viability of a franchise business model. How viable and sustainable can a business be based off of the model that franchisor has created? Next is the support. Every franchise owner wants to have the right amount of support, because in franchising, we want you to be in business for yourself and not by yourself. So having that relief and having that support systems from a marketing perspective, from an operations perspective, is going to be critical. And last is all about location. So franchisors are always going to work with their franchise owners to determine which markets and what cities are going to put them in the best shape when it comes to success. So here is the 6 key reasons on why you would like to franchise, but more importantly, why would you franchise with Neighborly? The first one is going to be around the financial flexibility in regards to financing your business. We all know that financing is one of the number 1 reasons why a business is going to succeed or not. So having the right funds and having the ability to have options to finance your business is one benefit. 2 is going to be around work-life balance. And this is key for everyone. We all would like a nice, healthy work-life balance where we have an opportunity to work, but more importantly, have time to spend with loved ones and do things that we like to do. And our franchise model allows our owners to do just that. Next is going to be that guidance and support that I was just talking about. Having that operations guidance and that technology, all the things that's required for success, we're going to train you and ensure that you have everything you need to be successful in the long term. Next is going to be the success rate, right? We always want to position ourselves for the best rate of success. And the numbers will show here in a little bit that when you franchise with a franchisor like Neighborly, your success rate goes up exponentially. And that's what we want to do, put you in the best position for success. Next is leverage Neighborly's home services expertise. We have been in business for over 40 plus years. We have 30 brands over 9 countries, and we have been doing this for a while. So we know what works, and we want to provide that skill and that knowledge to all of our franchise owners to ensure that they will be successful in the long term. And lastly, the Neighborly community. Neighborly, we have over 1,500 corporate staff members. We have over 4,000 franchise owners, and we are all here to ensure that we are all successful. So at the end of the day, this is the key reasons why anyone will want to be a part of the Neighborly brands. So the first one is around financial support. And one of the myths that I wanted to dispel with financing is that it's not affordable, right? There's a lot of people who feel that if they go into franchising, they have to have a whole lot of money to be able to finance a franchise. And the reality is that's not the case. There are a lot of different options that people can explore that will allow them to finance their business successfully. So let's go into some of those options right now. The first is the 401k, which is a savings account that many people actually create when they're at their job. And the purpose of this account is that you put money into it over the course of your career and it's used for your retirement. Now, if you were to actually take money out of that prior to retirement, you could actually be penalized from a tax perspective. But now there's programs where people can actually leverage their 401k savings and roll it into a business, and it's called ROBS. And this is a way for people to take control of their money and have more of a say in the outcome of the performance before they retire. Because right now, when it's in their 401 savings, you are at the mercy of the markets and what the volatility is. But if you're going to roll it into your own business, you can actually have more of a value and input on what that money actually does. So 401k is one actual option to finance. Second is SBA, or small business loans. And this is another common way that a lot of our franchise owners at Neighborly finance their business. And typically, when it comes to Neighborly franchises, the average investment is around $150,000. Now, granted, we have over 30 brands and over 19 that we're actually franchising in the United States. So there's many brands that are much less than that. But for the sake of this conversation, let's just say that the average is $150,000. And usually with SBA, it's usually around a 17% down payment required to be able to use SBA financing. So you would probably need a little over $25,000 to be able to successfully finance your business with SBA. Next is a HELOC, or a home equity line of credit. And based off of the current economy and the way that the housing values have skyrocketed, many people have really developed a lot of equity in their homes that they can actually leverage to finance their new business. So being able to take out a HELOC and use that equity in your home to finance your business is another smart way to finance your business as well. And then next is just personal savings. Everything you saved up to this point, in addition to any money that can be provided from family members, right? We call that bootstrapping. So you can actually use that, or a crowdsourcing kind of method, in order for you to be able to raise the funds needed as well. And then lastly, there's also some unsecured ways of financing that you can pursue that can help you finance your business. So at the end of the day, there are many, many different options that you can pursue that can help you finance your business successfully. So next, let's talk about work-life balance and flexibility. Now, one of the biggest myths that people have is that starting a franchise, you will have no flexibility, you will have no free time. You're going to just be working 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. And that's not the case. The reality is, when you franchise, you are your own boss. And you have the opportunity to create your own schedule and create the type of lifestyle that you would like to have. Now, granted, up front, you may have to commit a little time to just get the business up and going and for you to learn the model, but once you understand it, the model is created for you to have success without you being there every single day. So being your boss and being able to create your own schedule is another attraction of why people look at franchising. Now let's look at some numbers, right? 66% of full-time employees in America do not have work-life balance. So that means 2/3 of workers wish they had more time to do things other than work. They're working entirely too much. And then when you look at 69% of employees, they would like a flexible work schedule. But a lot of employers are not providing them to have it. So, some people may want to take every Wednesday off to, be with their kids or go to a baseball game, but their employers aren't allowing them to have that flexible schedule. And the number that's really telling is that over 13 years of your life will be working. And that's a lot of time to work. So if you can find a model that would allow you to be able to reduce that number to a fraction and still have the same financial stability, you will want to take advantage of that as well. So having the ability to have that work-life balance, but also have that flexibility is something that's also pretty attractive. Now let's talk about support and guidance. Now that's one of the main things that a franchisor can provide its franchise owners, is that support and that guidance. And one of the biggest myths that many people have about franchising is that you need to have experience, right? So when you're looking at Neighborly, which we're in home services, people think that you have to have home services experience to be a franchise owner at Neighborly. And the case is that's not it. That's not the case. We are looking for executive-minded leaders. We're looking for people who can lead a team, who can manage a team, who can motivate a team, right? We're looking for people who can be an active member in their communities, someone who can work on the business and not in the business. So you don't have to have home services experience to be a successful owner, because we're going to teach you what you need to know in order to be successful. So if you can come with leadership traits and characteristics, that's what's going to be the determining factor if you can be a successful franchise owner at Neighborly. So one of the things that a lot of people really don't understand is what is the true value of being in the franchise, and what do you actually get? What does a franchisor provide? And at Neighborly, I just wanted to take a little bit of time to just go over some of those benefits that you receive as a franchise owner if you were to become with the Neighborly brands. The first is going to be around marketing. And we all know that marketing is one of the key drivers to success of any business. So you have to be on top of your marketing. Now, if you're in business for yourself, you will be responsible for the marketing. And I'm not sure if you have a marketing degree, but if not, you may not be effectively marketing your business for the absolute best scenario for success. So at Neighborly, we have a dedicated marketing team, over 110 professionals that's dedicated to marketing, that's going to focus on social media, digital, local campaigns, national campaigns, you name it. They provide you with the marketing blueprint that will make you successful. Next, let's talk about operations. We have some of the best franchise business coaches that work with our franchise owners to ensure that they are implementing the model correctly and that they're running their business as effectively as possible. We help you with the budget planning. If you're looking to maybe build your business or grow it and expand territories, our franchise business coaches are there to help you do that as well. If you're looking to maybe transition out of a home office and go into a commercial office, our franchise business owners help you do that as well. So that mentorship and guidance from an operational perspective is key. Next, we also provide you with the proven business models. And this is what I was talking about at the very beginning with the bridge. We have spent a lot of time, money, and energy and resources to figure out what actually works when it comes to business in the home services. But more importantly, we've spent all that money and time to really find out what doesn't work. So we have saved you time and energy so you don't have to do that. So coming in and adopting these proven success models that we have only gets you successful in a short amount of time. Next, you want to look at technology. And technology is always key to any business. And Neighborly has always been committed to being at least 2 years ahead of competition when it comes to investing in research and development. We have a lot of proprietary technology for our brands that enhances all of the experiences, not just for the franchise owner, but for the service technicians all the way down to the end customer. So we're going to always be on the cutting edge of technology, and we're providing that to our franchise owners. Next, we talk about discounts. And this is one of the most unique things that Neighborly has when it comes to benefits of being with the Neighborly brands. We have a group of vendors, over 240 or so, of vendors that actually supply tools, resources, services to our franchise owners. That group is called ProTradeNet. And ProTradeNet, because of the fact we have so many franchise owners, we have a lot of purchasing power. So as a result, we are able to reduce the pricing to our franchise owners. And as a result, we are able to provide discounts to our franchise community. In 2021, we were able to provide at least $91 million of franchise discounts or special discounts to our franchise owners. And then we also write rebate checks, right? We actually write checks out to our franchise owners. And last year, we wrote over $7 million of rebate checks to all of our franchise owners. So it's not often that you have a franchisor writing checks to the franchisees and the franchise owners. So that's very unique. And a lot of times those franchise owners, they take that rebate and they actually offset some of their day-to-day expenses. So again, very unique benefit to being with Neighborly. Next is the networking opportunities. And when you ask franchise owners at Neighborly, one of the biggest reasons why they stay with the Neighborly brand is because they have the opportunity to network and learn from a lot of other franchise owners. So since we have over 4,000 plus franchise owners, we have a lot of owners that's been in the business for 15, 20 plus years. So they have tons of experience. And what I love about our franchise owners is that they love to share the knowledge and they like to be mentors and they guide our franchise owners so that they can be just as successful. So having that ability to be with very successful franchise owners is a very key benefit. You know, Zig Ziglar always said, you are and you earn the average of the 5 closest people in your circle. So if you want to get to the next level and be a really successful business owner, you have to position yourself in a circle that's going to allow you to learn and get there. So having that kind of quality of a franchise network will allow those franchise owners to do just that. And the next is reputation management. Every business revolves around reviews and referrals. And you have to be on top of ensuring that online, all your comments and all your reviews are being responded to in a timely fashion. So if you're in business for yourself, you're responsible for replying and responding to everyone based off of those reviews. But with Neighborly, we have a dedicated team focused on scouring the internet and ensuring that all reviews are being responded to in a timely fashion. So at the end of the day, all of these different services and benefits allows you as the franchise owner to focus on the business and not on some of these other things. Now let's talk about success. We always want to make sure that our franchise owners are going to be put in the best position for success. Now, one of the myths when it comes to success is that whether you're going to start a business on your own or actually start a business with a franchise, the risk of both business models are the same. And that the truth is that is not the case. The fact that if you go with a franchise business model, you are actually leveraging proven successful models that have been tested and had all the errors taken out to ensure that you don't have to do that. So the risk is going to be considerably lower when you are working with a franchise versus starting a business from scratch. Now let's put some numbers to that. 50% of non-franchise businesses fail within 5 years. But if you look at franchise businesses, 85% of all franchise businesses, they're still in business after 5 years. And this is a really telling stat that shows that it's a 35-point swing in regards to success rate if you were to start a business with a franchise versus going into business for yourself. And that's really, really key to understand. Now let's talk about home services. Neighborly is the largest franchisor of home services. Since we've been in business for over 40 plus years, we have a lot of experience. And this is one of the key spaces within franchising that will really be attractive for many franchise owners. But there's a myth, right? There's a myth that if you want to look at franchising, those opportunities only revolve in fast food. So many people feel like, okay, if I want to be in franchise, I have to either be a part of pizza or burgers or anything like that. But the reality is there's franchise concepts in all industries, right? We're in home services. You know, there's franchise concepts in fitness, in healthcare, you know, you name it. So as you're looking through your different options, just ensure that you're expanding your horizons to make sure that you're looking at all options that's actually available. But for us, home services is really key and it's really attractive. So let's talk about why home services is very attractive. If you look at it, almost 2/3 of all homeowners have outsourced at least one home project in the last 12 months. So irrespective of a pandemic or a recession, people are always going to spend money on their homes. It's their number one investment. So we don't see this trend slowing down anytime soon. So let's look at some other positive trends when it comes to the home service industry. The average age of a home continues to increase. The average age of a home in the United States was roughly around 33 years old. Now it's closer to 40 years old now. So as a result of the older home, that is more opportunities for things to be repaired, replaced, fixed, or renovated. So that is more business opportunities for people in the home services sector. Next, we're seeing this transition of do it yourself to do it for me. So in the past, people would actually take the time to try to fix things on their own. But now we're starting to see that more people really value their free time. So instead of staying at home and trying to fix a leaky faucet, they'd rather be out with family or friends or just enjoying the weather outside. So as long as we see this transition continue, we're going to see more business opportunities for home services. Next is the increase in population. All the different forecasts that we have been seeing shows that the population will continue to rise. And based off of the latest forecast, it's going to take an additional 10 million homes to accommodate the increase in population over the next few years. 10 million homes. And that's going to come on the inventory. So again, more and more opportunities for our home service players to be able to take advantage of that. And last, the increase in home ownership rate, it just continues to rise. And this has really been driven by millennials. A couple of years ago, the average homeowner rate in the United States was around 40%. Today, it's closer to 48 to 49%. And that's just a transition of people who are tired of renting and they want to own their own home and actually have some kind of ownership and an initial investment for their lives. So as long as these trends continue to trend in a positive way, the home services sector will continue to be an attractive place to be. So let's talk about the neighborly community. One of the things that many people have misunderstood is the fact that if they start a business with a franchise, once they start, they're going to be left alone. They're going to be on an island with no help, right? And again, one of the things we like to say in franchising is we want you to be in business for yourself, not by yourself. So having that ability to leverage the 4,000 plus franchise owners, right? Work with our vendors. We have over 1,500 team members in the corporate and support staff offices to be there to all make sure that you're successful. We have only one objective and goal in mind, is that all of our franchise owners are successful. So as long as we are here, we're going to ensure that everyone is going to see that success for the long term. And here's just a quick snapshot of some of the key brands that we are franchising in the United States. It's 19 brands. And this is another key differentiating factor that we have at Neighborly that other competitors might not have. We have an option to grow. So if you're coming in with one franchise concept, say you're coming in with Molly Maid, you have the ability to grow your business and add another franchise concept. You may want to add AirServe, which is our heating and cooling franchise concept. Because the more businesses that you have, the more value you can add to your customers. And the more value you add to the customers is more revenue generating opportunities for you as a business. And one of the other things that's very, very unique is the fact that there are tons of cross-marketing opportunities with all of our brands. So if you are going to open up a AirServe in your city, the first day of operations, you will have access to every Neighborly franchise concept in your city to be able to market to for business. So day one, you already have a customer base to market to. And that's very unique and a very good advantage to have when starting a business. So another key benefit of being able to really take advantage of the power of the Neighborly Hub. So what are the next steps? I think the first step is you want to understand your why, right? Understand why you would like to go into business and what's driving you. What are the goals and objectives that you want to accomplish? And once you do that, that will then allow you to start to determine which franchise concepts you may want to take a further look at. You may want to start at certain industries and see what industries are of interest to you. And then you can determine what's available in your market that may be a good fit for you. Once you start doing some of that due diligence, I also think you should start looking at some of the franchise owners' validation calls or conversations with them to see what exactly it takes to be a franchise owner, because they know on a day-to-day basis what it's like to run one of our businesses. So once you get all that due diligence, you will be in a really good position to be able to make a really good decision on what's the right fit for you. So that is the crux of the conversation today. I've had a great time having this discussion. If you have any questions, please feel free to give me a call or send me an email and we can have further conversations. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Brian. We appreciate your insight into franchising and the way that Neighborly can help. A few questions have come up while you've been speaking. Do you have some time to answer a few of those?
I do.
Wonderful. First question I see is there are tons of franchise options out there. Why should I choose Neighborly?
Yeah, that's a good question. And it's really going to be around the differentiating factors. One is that cross-marketing opportunity that you have to leverage between the different brands. Also, our Pro TradeNet connection with all of our vendors that gives a lot of discounts and a lot of rebates to our franchise owners. But then more importantly, we are a business that's been around for 40 plus years. So we have a lot of expertise and experience to make sure that you're going to be successful.
Wonderful. And the next question came up is how do I choose which brand is right for me?
Yeah, I think the biggest one is to really understand the makeup of that brand. So doing a little due diligence on the leadership, trying to understand who you will be working with on a day-to-day basis. So like doing some interviews with the operations staff, with the marketing staff. If you can possibly talk to the brand presidents, this will give you a good understanding of will you be a good fit, because this is like a marriage, right? You want to have that same kind of dynamic so that you're investigating and evaluating a potential franchise concept like they're evaluating you. So if you have that fit and you feel like you can work with them in the long term, that's going to be the key.
Okay. Then how do I know that I'm ready to start a business or a franchise?
Oh, yeah. For me, it's always been a checklist. It's a couple things, right? The first thing is, do you have the money? Check, right? If you have the financing to do it, you're good to go. Do you have the support of your family, right? Making sure your family is behind you, whether they're going to be a part of it on the day-to-day operations or just for moral support. You just want your family to be supportive of that. You've already done your due diligence. You've evaluated a couple franchise concepts and you feel like this is the right one for you. And then lastly is you're ready to work and commit and be the best that you can be. And if you have those things prepared, you are ready to own your own franchise.
Great. So then what's the very first thing? What's the first thing I should do if I'm thinking about owning a franchise?
Yeah, the first thing is understand your why. So basically find out, why do you want to own your own business? Once you decide on what those goals and objectives are, that will then guide you towards which franchise will be the best fit for you. So start with your strategy of why you want to do it, and then the rest will fall into place.
Got it. Well, thank you so much. This has been great. I appreciate you taking the time for us today, Brian.
Thank you.
As always, it's a pleasure to speak with you about Neighborly and franchising. When it comes to franchising, we know there are many opportunities out there to consider. We hope that Brian was able to dispel many rumors that come up when you begin looking into business ownership, and specifically franchising. When it comes to your future, it's important to do your research, understand the facts, and do your due diligence before you come to your own conclusion. When the time comes and you're ready to explore business ownership and possibly Neighborly, you can visit our website at franchise.neighborly.com for more information, or you can reach out to us directly. We're always willing to help guide you on your journey or get you in touch with one of our experienced franchise developers. Before you go, there are a few other reminders I have for you. A replay of this webinar will be available on our website, so you can rewatch as many times as you'd like. We'll also provide the replay link via email for you to review or share with someone else. Our next webinar will be in January with our friend Luke Stanton. Luke will be walking you through an exercise to help you set your goals as you start the new year and start out on the right foot. Be sure to check your email for information and to register. Thank you all for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the new year for our next webinar.